I take the gun to protect Tori, I think. She devoted most of her life to keeping the old cunt alive, and despite her calmness then, I knew she'd be more than just lost without him. Well, they'd been caught in a kind of arrhythmic, dysfunctional, codependent dance forever. Her side of the relationship, the feel and smell of an addiction to it. Her fix being to fix him. She'd contorted herself so much to protect and run his life that she'd become as hideous as he was. Like a Siamese twinning of the psyches. It's all about control, see? He was happy to hand it over, and she took it willingly. And bogarted it. Such insane loyalty to such a total fuck-up makes you a fuck-up too. If you weren't already, that is.
I nearly say something to Fanny when she calls to tell me about Osgood, but she's still furious and she just think I was being morbid. Thing is, there's a strange but true fact about hypothermia. Look it up if you don't believe me. People can take days to die of it. The body cools gradually and so very little harm is done to the cells, rather like cryogenic suspension. This creates a long gap between clinical death and brain death. And this means that victims display no vital signs can actually be brought back, but often are not. A little warm and thought for you there, and free of charge. I don't know how long Osgood had been there before he was found. Probably too long. I tried to call, but both their phones are off. I'd have to go round there. Go out, face people. It's about the time children are on their way home from school, and I'm not in the mood for their ugly little faces gawping up at me, not today. He's meant to be long dead. It's probably just an urban myth anyway. That's what he wanted, isn't it? What he'd always wanted, really. I'm doing him a favour, not going.
Nobody would have expected Max, of all people, to do anything impressive or brave. And it wasn't by knowing all that stuff about hypothermia. We all knew that shit. But there he'd gone out. In broad daylight. In his home there were no mirrors. He resented shiny surfaces. But outside, he couldn't avoid his reflection. Not from surface or shine, but people. Outside, your repulsion scrawled for him an accurate portrait. His piece on the site about Osgood's latest attempt was almost respectful. Max didn't do tasteful, but he didn't crack any jokes. Well, not many. And I never heard him refer to Osgood as a coward again. For some people, that's about as brave as they get. Who am I to talk?
I leave not long after Max gets there. I'm sorry Dad's gone, of course. But I don't think I'll miss him. Not really. Not like you think. I take his letter and the pills with me. They don't even notice. It's sad he's dead, sure. But this will mean a kind of freedom for me. A new start in life. I take a handful of the pills. Freedom from the constant gnawing worry. I'll be able to go back to college. The pills don't do anything, except upset my stomach. Get a part-time job. They don't make me sleepy at all. A boyfriend even. I take the rest. Best of all, no more barbecues.
Nobody would have expected me, of all people, to be the one to fuck it all up. I should have thought. Should have known. But I didn't. Not when she left, not even when I realised she'd taken the pills with her. But she'd locked herself in, thrown the key out the window. Again, I should have known. Should have thought. Diarrhea leads to dehydration. With that amount of powerful hyperosmotic inside her, she would have lost a lot of fluid very quickly. It's a horrible way to die, dehydration. You only need to lose 15% of your body fluid before... It's like dying of a hangover. Imagine! I should have thought. That she'll seep through the floor into the flat below. That's how they found her. That, and the smell.
Max got almost emotional when I told him how Tori had died and Osgood survived. I don't think he could cry if he wanted to. his face no more suited to tears than the moon to babbling brooks. He said it reminded him of an old story. Romeo and Juliet, I offered, but he was talking about an old episode of Buffy.
What do you imagine those people who sacrifice their lives for noble causes would make of all of this? Or those people who through sickness have their lives cut short? People who would give everything they have for one more hour, one more minute with their loved ones. What about sick kids waiting for a transplant, needing a miracle if they are to see their 5th birthday, their 1st birthday? What would they make of this? Would they call it comedy? Best not to ask.
What Goes Up has its own rating system for the videos. Visitors can give it any clip between 0 and 5 kick buckets, going up in half bucket increments. Max's video of his suicide is posted on the site. Of course, that's the one exception I mentioned. The one new clip. It's right here, under my mouse. I'm surprised it's not been taken down. Surprised and a little wet. It's been rated by you, the viewers, like all the others. I mean, why not? You give it 3.5 buckets out of 5. And I would be forced to agree. It's low on comedic value, true, but for me there's a sentimental element. He was a mate after all, so I'll give it a 4. I don't want to watch it again, but of course I do. Max has that tune, you know the one. Playing him out. It has the bizarre title, Entrance of the Gladiators. It was written in 1890-something by Julius Fuchik, a Czech. Only later was it speeded up, turned into what's known as the Screamer March for the circus. But imagine it slowed back down, as the tsunamic, chanted uproar of the angry mob. Then there is something gladiatorial about it. Max has the original version, the one we all know, the daft one. Not gladiatorial at all. Not an entrance either. This has all got me down a bit. I've been scouring the net for stuff to cheer me up, but I'm looking at Osgood's gun as if it makes sense. And Gould has a funny habit of churning up the shit you're not looking for. There's this poem by Dorothy Parker I find, a little anti-suicide rhyme. You know, life-affirming shit. Razors pain you, rivers are damp, acids stain you, and drugs cause cramp. Guns aren't lawful, nooses give. Gas smells awful, you might as well lit...
Since the making of this programme, Osgood Hardback has sadly passed away. He was hit in a tragic accident by a man jumping from an 8th floor window. Osgood's world record has since been overtaken by Carlos Extralata Pottercattle, a Mexican quadriplegic who has now attempted suicide 52 times. Fanny Saturday is still recovering in hospital. It is hoped that after lengthy reconstructive surgery on her face and the fitting of a prosthetic tongue and jawbone, that she may one day talk again. She asked if the following statement could be read out. If you are contemplating something as insane as suicide, then can I urge you not to? Stick around, please. If you think nobody cares whether you live, try not paying your council tax for a couple of months. And if you feel like your life is not worth living, don't throw it away. Spend it annoying the fuck out of all those people who you think don't like you. Entrance of the Gladiators starred Sarah Pemberton as Fanny Saturday, Jasmina Rahman as Tori Hardback, Jason Hayne as Max Wormwood, and Peter Savizon. I done the words.